Public library. No Melanie inside. Oh.
So check it, so it's missing. Another check. But,
Show you.
yeah, yep,
So,
yeah, that's the area. So, now for that. Yeah, yeah, no, it's not the ones earlier.
that's it. That's good. What is going on?
Showing up on here.
What's Jerry's number?
Just so you know, we're live.
Hey Jerry, I sent you two chats, but the camera is not picking up. And therefore the YouTube
It is picking up here.
Please check it. We are live, allegedly. See the room? Jerry? Do you see the room? He can see the room.
Okay.
Okay, that's all that matters. And you can hear. All right, so great. Thanks.
Jen. They show one. It could go either way. We're just trying to log into, oh, during, okay.
Calling the meeting to order. Welcome to our June 10th, 2025 meeting. We are going to start by beginning with the roll call, starting with myself. President Bridget Potter. Vice President Darrell Lewis.
Vice President Fine, Steve Barnum.
Secretary Trustee Ross.
Trustee Pajan. Trustee Sarah Lisinski. Trustee Jennifer.
Director Andrew McFly.
Counsel for the Library, Mackenzie Clark.
Jeff. 3, thank you. First, we have a public comment from Sarah Blue. 2nd Street. My wife and I recently attended the drag story time at the Albany Public Library with our daughter and several of her preschool friends and their families. It was an absolute wonderful experience for all of us. The kids had such a great time. Our daughter even called the drag queen a princess and couldn't wait to tell everyone about the princess she met. And honestly, that's exactly how kids see it. Fun, magical, and full of joy. Books were read, songs were sung, crafts were made. It was a wholesome, creative, and inclusive family activity. We felt welcome, safe, and grateful to share this experience with our daughter and her classmates. We also want to express our support in the face of recent loud opposition to events like drag story time. Many of those voices do not reflect the values of our local community. They are not part of our schools or our neighborhoods or our library community. They do not show up for our kids, and they certainly do not support the inclusive, family-centered environment we experience at this event. Reading to children is a vital part of their development. Studies show that reading aloud helps expand vocabulary, build essential neutral connections, and foster early literacy skills while strengthening the parent-child bond. These benefits are especially powerful when children hear diverse stories and the characters that broaden their understanding and empathy. In fact, studies highlight the recent news reveal that many Gen Z parents find reading to their children boring, which makes some story times like this more important than ever. Offering an engaging, joyful, and exclusive storytime experience helps inspire families to connect through reading and keeps the love of books alive for a new generation. We are proud to be a part of the community and embraces diversity, fosters kindness, and creates safe spaces for all families. Thank you, Albany Public Library, for standing strong and offering programs that bring joy, imagination, and acceptance to our children. Thank you, Ms. Boomhauer. Second comment is from Shannon Conley. Good afternoon. I want to submit a comment for tonight's COT meeting. See below. Thanks. Hello, Albany Public Library Board of Trustees. Sorry I couldn't make it in person, but wanted to express how lovely the event we attended this month. My name is Shannon Conley, resident on Danger Avenue. To hang in see two vibrant, furious 3-year-olds. We go to our local branches weekly, often multiple times a week, and I love all the story times at all the branches. We attended the drag queen story time this month, the second one, and my children had a blast. As a parent, it's my job to ensure many children understand that not everyone looks the way they do, and regardless of how someone looks, we meet them with compassion, treat them the way we want to be treated. Storytime is a fantastic event that my children, husband, and our friends love. Hank spent the evening and the new few days asking, where did the library princess, AKA Noelle Diamond go? And asked when she would come back to read more stories. Lucy loved the books we read. She hopes next time we get to read a book about two princesses instead of two princes. She also asked if she too could get a pretty dress like the library princess. I hope the library continues to host drag queen story time, and it is one of our favorite events. Let kids experience new things, ask questions, and grow. I am grateful the library hosts these events that open the doors to the conversations with our children that will help them grow into the kind, empathetic people I know they be. I appreciate all the fantastic librarians and staff at our libraries that make them so special, especially all the children's librarians who are truly famous in our household. Thanks. Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. And also now from Tara Burke. Hello, I am writing to thank the Albany Public Library staff and trustees for hosting a wonderful drag queen story hour on June 3rd with Noelle Diamond. The story selection and songs were fun and engaging, and Noelle is an amazing performer. My children and I have attended several drag queen story hours at APL over the year. They are always excellent. I feel very fortunate to live in a city where the diversity of our community is celebrated, and my children have the opportunity to learn that it is normal, acceptable, and beautiful for people to express themselves in all sorts of different ways. Please continue to offer amazing inclusive programming, including future drag queen story hours. My family and I will be there. Sincerely, Kara Burke from Davis Avenue. Thank you to all our public comments.
That just came to my attention just now that there was apparently some sort of issue in the document was uploaded, so part of the document was cut off, so. I do have to be registered.
I think trustee Goss is asking about the minutes, the mention of, right?
No.
There's listing.
Right, yeah, I think it's the register was cut off and there's checklist.
The appetite register?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that. I was actually trying to upload the check register. So our apologies. we just circle back to that. That's a design. That's that one.
So. Let me just make sure. Right, so I'm thinking the operating check register. I just have a clarifying question. And I don't remember, so please forgive me. Trustee West, I just wanted to ask. For the contract from Whiteman, Holston, and Ham, do we pay them on a quarterly basis?
So it's a quarterly pay, quarterly.
Stay with that.
The reports included in the agenda. Five, which was 83% of the revised fiscal year. Support and revenue. Expenditures continue to turn slightly with payroll and related costs in the interest category on an annual basis. So in April was 380,000, which is up 11% from last April, and the employee benefits expense in April was 110,000, which is 15% up for April last year. If you have any questions upon the reports in section 4, feel free.
Yes, trustee Randall. So, it says that payroll and related costs are the largest category of budget on a dollar basis. Can you just elaborate?
Sure. So you look at total expenditures, we're 83% of the way through our fiscal year. Total expenditures, we've come up to 85% of the budgeted modified budget. We can look at the payroll and related costs. The difference between the modified budget and the year-to-date expenditures is $130,000 out of the $76,000 that were over.
Wow, so I understood that, but I was really asking, if the positions that that are not being filled, so we have vacancies, and I know we're filling some positions and we collapse some positions. So that's why I'm a little bit confused about payroll being over budget.
It's over budget in the sense that it's over 83% of the way spent, but the timing of the payrolls throughout the year, that's not necessarily a big people what you see the month, but it's total. It's really just over relative to the 83% that people represent as far as the percentage of this.
Yeah, and cash investment, some. I said it. Um, Trustee West, I move to be adopted finance. No, I didn't. I'll go. Oh, okay, so we don't think we started. All right, so. For the trustees reporting.
I don't think I've made reports, but I do just give a sort of round of applause and a shout out to APL, of course, our partnership with the Apollo Gallery. There was the newest art exhibit opening at Pine Hills on Friday. So there's the site specific is named the exhibit currently on display. The Pine Hills band was also there, so despite the rainy weather, it was a really good turnout. And so events, and I know that Trustee Marlin, Trustee Allen were also there. So I think it's such a special sort of recurring event that we have in our partnership that's ongoing that brings a lot of people out. So
I'm sorry, I wanted to record to show that is not here. Yeah. Works and circumstances. And also, trustee Robinson. It's excuse. So. Meetings, trustee West, chairperson, there, I am not home to read the minutes since we can all read and we don't have our photos. But the first time we met, which was not, we met on May 19th, we met to review and solidify the timeline for the annual executive director's evaluation. And we then moved it out, and then we met June 4th. We reviewed the responses, and then we also extended the deadline a couple of extra days. See some. Thank you. Anybody? Report, yes.
and so I'm just gonna be really quick because there's a bigger part of facilities later, and y'all want me to hear it twice. But facilities did meet and discuss here off that. Or
Or any upcoming committee. Should be. 5:30, I believe it's on. Executive director report.
All right, so first I just want to provide a quick update about the status of the check register. So I tried to make changes to the existing agenda and upload the complete check register, but it did not work the way I wanted it to. So I'm afraid we'll have to circle back to that check register and leave it as is. Again, this is a transition period for us. Erica did everything perfectly earlier. It was just some miscommunication between a couple of seconders as we got the latest agenda updated, so, my apologies, but. It is like this agenda, but it's not all of. There are,
One that says 25 lot,
what are these?
because when I open the one that says June.
What are you?
There is
sure?
one that modified 12 minutes ago.
Okay, can you see it in the PDF of the agenda, or is it just in SharePoint? I appreciate your help, thanks.
I see it in ship.
Sure.
It's a PDF. It's not the phone. Same for the record.
So the public folder in SharePoint contains the revised, the proper check register, but the proper check register isn't the one that's linked to the public agenda. So I don't know if Madam President, you'd like to go back to the check register item. Do the approval based on SharePoint.
13 minutes ago, it was weird.
There is a check for county waste in Clifton Park. Is that just the regular waste pickup is based in Clifton Park?
That's the service that we use and that's this.
So we use Charter Communications and First Light.
Which line is that?
So Charter Communications is on the third page. First Light is on the first. Check on First Light 5 acres, so it's never seen 6 times. So it's they go so. I guess the question is, what specific services are First Light Fiber provide versus Charter Communications provide?
First Light is our internet service provider, but yeah, you would mention about Charter.
Chart is the same thing as Spectrum at the time. But their Wi-Fi broadband service for the locations, and so all the housing authority locations partially reimbursed from foundation for it's all Wi-Fi that works for studies. And also phone. Things.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that last part? Pardon me.
First thing, part of the check is related to their comfort. And another part of it, the bills.
And what about Verizon? Verizon is the hotspots. So it's public Wi-Fi hotspots.
So would it be? So yes, I understand First Light Fiber has fiber optics and it's not necessarily where wires can get pulled. It's not the same as Spectrum, but it's the same type of service. So would it be beneficial to bundle services and maybe have our own? Because it seems like we're doing different things from different providers. Now, I know with the telephone, that wouldn't necessarily on that level, so Charter, but Charter and First Light do the same thing, just different ways.
So we use First Light for dark fiber, which is the internet backup. So the reason that those have to be different is because First Light is providing the backup service and Spectrum service is the main service. So Spectrum goes down, First Light is the but I'm putting it way too simply though.
Right, because you don't have to have a different service provider as that.
In this case, we do, and we also apply for a special separate grant for dark fiber services. And First Light was the bid that won for the grant that pertains to. I think it's
It makes sense, it definitely makes sense.
It's not, consent agenda.
Trustees, Linsky, I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda. Mr. Munawitz.
all in favor.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we're, first of all, very grateful to the voters of Albany who came out to participate in this year's budget vote in the trustee election. Actually, to trustees again for terms. In addition to the school and library votes, the activity around Tulip Fest, and we also held a job fair here at Washington Avenue in collaboration with the city civil service department, and a mini job fair focused on jobs in the trucking industry. So I'll go through some highlights from our various departments and start with administration. So I had the pleasure of attending the Arts Thrive Grow Award reception at the Arts Center in Troy, and I did that on behalf of APL applied for a grant and won that grant to help fund Art at APL, which is going to be a new art show that was just installed at Pine Hills last Friday. I also attended a CDLC, Capital District Library Council reinvigorating professional development day. The highlights of that day were really two. Our HR journalist presented a fantastic program about how to get a great job in the library field. And the other thrill was getting to meet, take a selfie with Michael Threeds, who is a celebrity librarian. If you don't follow him on social media and is worth following. He's got a lot of library joy to spread. He was a librarian in California, and now he's just kind of a librarian celebrity, closest we have to it. And he also is the resident librarian at PBS. I also want to mention that in terms of the Friends and Foundation, the latest update is that we basically held an executive meeting the 22nd of May and discussed the current status of the budget and some of the projects that are currently suspended due to the lack of capacity within the Friends and Foundation board at the moment. So they're not doing any book sales during the farmers markets of Delaware, and the fundraising efforts are kind of on hold for the meantime, while they reassess the way they would like the board to be. But a lot of positive energy there, headed in the right directions. And then I'll turn it over to Adam Stumpf to provide the finance portion of this update tonight.
Sure, just a couple things currently happening. So entering the final month of fiscal 25 to the sixth paper. And the workers' compensation policy has been renewed for fiscal year $7,000 less than the current policy. And the transition to a new credit card processor has actually been completed now. And it is expected to save us thousands of dollars in processing fees there.
Let's see, Matt, our head of community, excuse me, our head of public safety, is invited to deliver a talk at Builderland Staff Builder Day. So that's cool because we're going to share this great resource with the rest of the governments and library system. Not everyone can hire a head of public safety, so he's been helping other library staffs at other libraries to understand the value of de-escalation training and so. Under community engagement, we had 3 volunteers across 2 neighborhood branches in May, which is building on our volunteer program. We also have a new platform up and running on the Committed to Volunteer website, which is run by United Way of the Greater Capital Region. Our head of community engagement has been participating in a volunteer coordinator group meetings every month or so. And this entire group, which is regional volunteer coordinators, has pretty much recommended that everyone adopt the United Way platform, which is great because it's already pretty well known as a platform. And that's where we're going to be pointing people from our employment and volunteering webpage. So we have that updated. Under programs and partnerships, we again hosted a tent at the annual Tulip Fest, and it was great. It was a great day. The ground was very wet from the recent storms, but we had some great crafts and a bleaker scavenger hunt. There's a lot of great positive engagement. And then under branch services, we kicked off school visits at our West Hill and welcomed 4th grade class from Albany International Center for a guided visit. We also always have the opportunity to issue a bunch of library cards whenever a school visit happens, so that was a nice compliment to that. At Bach, quick highlight, Cornell Cooperative. We partnered with Cornell Cooperative to do a food science Say Cheese program where kids actually got to make cheese. At Delaware, the literacy volunteers of Rensselaer County received a class for intermediate English learners. At Howe, we partnered with Skylar Mansion to host 3 different programs centered around the Kingster Festival, which is an annual Albany event. There's a lot to celebrate related to African American history in the region and relationship between the Dutch. Those were really positive events for Al and for us. At North Albany, we included a decent sized summary of the ways in which we're supporting North Albany during this transition time from North. Right now, we lack we are making changes to the staffing model at Albany, and as a result, we've done a lot of rotating through the branch, which has been great for learning the flow of things at North Albany, seeing firsthand how this branch runs and, you know, regulars of all that good stuff. So the administrative team has been kind of taking turns being once two Fridays, at least 2 Fridays. And Pine Hills school visits also Pine Hill, right? Pine Hills. Yeah. Sort of high school, high school. To bring parents and trade into the as well. And at Washington, manager, Will Pasio started. Just a great job. There was a nice feature in the Times Union under communications and data services. A nice feature in the Times Union about the Pine Hills Band and the new Art at APL show. And Hoopla under collection management services, Hoopla use continues to be really strong. Hoopla is the digital that you can download to your phone for free, and it's on-demand library materials. There's actually a lot of conversation happening at the Arkansas library system level about Hoopla and how to contain the costs of Hoopla. So while it is popular, there are some cons involving the pricing model and you have to be able to budget for it. So I expect those conversations to continue. Really talking about Hoopla and Overdrive and where to invest, how to get the most bang for the buck for patrons. So you'll hear more about that. And I think that pretty much does it for update. Yeah, we're also transitioning to a new voice over internet protocol system for our phone system. And as luck would have it, we have trained voice actor staff who's going to be doing the recordings for Albany Public Library. Luke in our IT department has done voiceover ads for the Buffalo Bills and for all of these different organizations. And he's been doing his talents to make video for our entire voice system. So look forward to that. And yeah, that's it for my update. Thank you. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
One thing. Forward, is that forward? Or so you got to be on. Program, or the working on not be.
No, the meditation programs, we've run a few of those in different quarters, and I think there is interest in seeing that continue. So I have no reason to think that we aren't looking more, but I can find out. Sure. It's a good question. I don't know if there are plans to expand meditation. Well, I know we've done like one-off meditation workshops and sessions at other branches, but I don't know that there's a regular series being planned for another branch. Thank you. Statistics. Okay. So you'll see that door count is seeing an overall year-to-date increase. If you look at that separate link for the new door count system. And Auburn, West Hill, Grand Hills, and North Albany are actually leading with the door count increases over last year. Looking at the regular statistics, computer use is up at all branches except for all over. Room use is up overall across the district. We're still trending over those pre-pandemic numbers, so over 2019 numbers, and that statistic growth is being led by Washington Avenue, Arden, West Hill, Pine Hills, and Delaware. And program attendance is also up and continues to trend up at Washington Avenue, Block, Pine Hills, and Albany, as well as at APL, APL as a whole. So those are some highlights, but I can answer any questions that you have about most of the statistics.
know what's in front of me, but I'll just curious to find out. Now. It's the difference with these presidents as far as, you know, the safety and the stuff out there.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, I see. On page 3 of the statistics report, that our month-to-month incidents are coming down, he's. In addition to just being really vigilant, about the people to whom we have to issue loss of corporate privileges letters. He's also always training his staff up. Things to watch out for. He's training new staff to come in, before they even start working at a desk. They receive de-escalation training, situational awareness. And all of that combined has really led to this fairly dramatic increase in violent, physical, verbal. We don't have very many physical things, but verbal harassment occurs a lot, and yet those numbers have come down certainly since last year. Yeah, very grateful to Matthew's leadership and vision for the department.
Is there, I mean, I don't imagine, looking at the trend, be like, well, we're gonna hit no incidents really stuff. But I realize that's not probably the case. Is there a lower level of like, we're hoping for like less than 5 incidents, less than 1 incident, like what?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask Matt, he will tell you, we want 0. We want 0 incidents. He wants to be able to report on 0 incidents. He has been tracking the number of days to go at each branch without any incident. And those numbers are also continuing to rise, which is great. But I would say, you know, I mean, a lot of the trends that we've seen in our incidents, you know, are related to the pandemic. And so if we're looking at strictly 2019, which actually is not, yeah, it's the green one. Yeah, so, you know, it's looking positive compared to 2019. I would say there's no, I mean, the perfect goal is 0, and that's what we're striving towards.
Okay, Nate?
Statistics or yep.
So, as I mentioned earlier, as I mentioned earlier, facilities met and that was what I told you. But we met and discussed the capital funding request. Directors Nicolay and Fireball came and spent a decent chunk of time talking trustee Allen and myself through what is going on here in Washington. Basically, the room was sleeping, and we saw a really fun setup over there, too, to like working on things, but it's not great. And they, you know, talked us through everything, and the division of DLD, Division of Library Development, has a grant to refund. So essentially, they're looking to replace. If we learned that there are 2 roofs over Washington Ave. This section has 1 roof, and then over the front section has another roof. And that roof is the one that's leaking. And so we're APL is looking to use the money from the capital fund to do some masonry repair, and roof repair, and the library dry in one place or piece. And there are grant monies from the Division of Library Development that will refund 90% of this work, which is a lot of money. And we made a motion coming out of the committee to support this. I will let Andrea speak more openly about what we learned.
Well, I thought you did a pretty good job there. Yeah, the technical details, I mean, this, we're not addressing the roof that's directly above us here. This roof is fine and was done recently. We're talking about the roof that's over the older part of the building. So the roof that's over the, basically the 3-story part of the building. And so, the memo, and of course, Adam Farm provided most of the text for this, but because of the EDP rubber, the membrane that's around the roof, and the shrinkage that's happening, that has happened there, the tears, the flashing that's pulled away. So this roof is end of life, and you know, the DLD is very careful about not issuing grants to the same exact type of project as was issued in recent times. So DLD requires a certain period lapse before you apply for another roof for the same building, for example. So that time has more than lapsed at this point, and that's why we are eligible to apply for this money, or we're eligible to apply for this money. So this is merely this is basically the motion to approve the transfer of the money. We will be spending the money, of course, as the project gets completed, and then the reimbursement will happen probably next spring. That's when we usually receive the BLP reimbursement.
So it sounds like we did apply for the grant
Oh, we did, yes, that,
and it was approved.
yes. So the total impact to our capital fund balance is 60,200 when it's all said and done.
And that the reimbursement from next year.
That's after the reimbursement.
So
Yeah, essentially the roof, that's the cost of the new roof for us, which is.
To chime in, apparently when it rains in the IT department, and mixing computers with the water is not a good plan. For my solid expertise in these things.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
I believe that, well, a quote had to be obtained for the work, I believe we built to get it. Or they're under the state. We get you the vendor information.
There were transferring for the project where we don't have a vendor yet, but it's slated to be done in the summer of this summer of 2025, when we don't have a contract. Contract, we're doing it, going out for RFP for the building, that correct?
No, the facilities manager would have the exact right information for you. I just don't have the name of the contractor for you. Get you guys to the contractor, which I think it might have come off the New York State contract, which is kind of had to go out to bid, but I'll find out for sure.
Yes, and
I second the motion. Transfer funds from the general checking account to the capital checking account for the city completing the 25-26 capital projects.
All in favor? All opposed? Anything? Okay. 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 Motion carries. Okay. Special. Stated grant audits.
So this pertains to two grants that Senator Neil Breslin directed to the library. Each is in the amount of $20,000 for unspecified improvements at Arbor Hill, West Hill, and Delaware. And with these grants, we're able to go to staff, consult with feedback from recent community surveys, and come up with some plans that will improve these spaces for the community. So branch managers at Arbor Hill, West Hill, and Delaware worked with their teams and with the community to come up with some plans for these renovations to both branches, and I'll just go through each one. So we're hoping to do main lobby renovation that will involve mural and the design installation will be overseen by local muralist Jay Warwick, who is a notable local muralist who also wrote a guide for the Capital District Library Council about how and do community work murals with community engagement involved. So she's kind of the leading authority on regional murals, partnerships between the libraries and communities. We're also looking to expand the seating in the lobby area and the collections areas at Alamo. And those changes will improve the sight lines as well as seating and collections area. Externally, the current sign for Arbor Hill West Hill isn't really easy to see. It's off to the side of the main entrance. Oh, bless you. It's very easy to miss. So we will be commissioning a new sign for directly above the entrance. Similar to what we have here at Washington Avenue. So that's the Arbor Hill West Hill plan, and then the Delaware branch project addresses mostly furniture. The Delaware branch furniture is very well ready for replacing. So we'll be doing some reupholstering of some adult seating and new table for the adult computer area, some modular seating for the teen area. Because teens, they come in groups and they don't like to use the large table that's actually in the teen section. So our branch librarian at Delaware, Nina, found this really cool modular teen seating. It's not beanbags, but it's like shapes that can kind of move in areas or in configurations that suit the groups that you want to hang out with. So we think the teens will really love it. And then similar modular seating for the children's area, including some like a sort of a couch that looks a little bit like a flower and a larger Lego table. And then externally, we're hoping to add another picnic table, and that's not on this list. That was a recent. And then repairing and renovating the tree sculpture that's in the outdoor area in the garden. It's become quite rusted and flaking in ways that are not great. So we're actually trying to reach the artists who created that sculpture and work with them to kind of renovate it. So that's another way that you can buy funds. That's the plans. And share that and I should be that.
I just have a question about you. Local, you know, there's gonna be a survey to ask the patrons.
That's exactly, yeah, a survey and some type of like design, like brainstorm, like a couple of sessions for like kids or whoever wants to attend, to come and offer ideas, both like picture ideas as well as, motivate or text ideas, I guess, for the inspiration for the mural. So Jade is kind of a specialist in this type of thing and really knows how to invite the kind of feedback that's going to for a very eccentric girl. We're excited, yeah. We're looking to hopefully complete this work by this time next year, so. These things do tend to take a little bit longer than, than one thing, so I always like to under. The timelines. Say, I think it's a good estimate, although it might be completed before a year.
Just one more. Engagement, engagement, is it one time? Or it could be like 3 times in different status?
I believe it's gonna be different, not only different sessions, but also different kinds of feedback invited, like that's paper survey that's in people out in the branch, as well as sessions that happen after school or during every day.
Things break down. Every council. But, okay. Jade,
I think for the whole mural project, it's close to 10,000. Over 10,000. And that's including like scaffolding materials and all that stuff. So this is just a updated contract for the next year. Yeah, so it's 2 shows per year and I'll get the dates agreement is place where the Friends and Foundation is labeled as just the foundation of APL, so very minimal changes. The public gallery didn't request any more money or that, so FFAPL board approved the renewal, the Opelka Gallery, said that they would love to do more shows and now we're at the point where the board is being asked to approve the new contract for 2025.
Yes, that's you. I just wanted to say thank you for providing. It makes it very easy to see the changes were. As well as what is the. So,
Sure, Carol.
And I'm obviously not a legal person. It got changed at the bottom of the agreement or to the Friends Foundation on. But up above, like in the context, it's still referred to as foundation. Does that matter?
I believe it's labeled the Friends of Foundation in first instance. And then it's called, yeah, so in the first paragraph,
Gotcha, yeah, I see it.
and then it's abbreviated basically as foundation throughout.
Perfect, thank you. And it wasn't in red, so I didn't see. Thank you.
Seeking for an motion to approve the new renewal of the outdoor gallery. Tutorial.
Trustee West, I'm. Chambers or.
Trustee Allen, second.
All in favor? One abstention. 6. Approved. Motion carries. Any public comment? Yeah, oh. I had to do it for last time. And then. One of the same, idea that trustee Robinson is for her renovation. So we could show you. It's it is from trustee West, excuse me, trustee Robinson. It is with mixed emotions that I I've been incredibly grateful for the such passive, dedicated, and inspiring individuals. Together, we have championed the vital role of library in our community, promoting literacy, equity, access, and lifelong learning for all. This decision does not come lightly. However, much reflection and consideration of my growing personal and professional obligations, I believe that this is the right time to step away and allow space for someone else to bring their energy and ideals to the board. Thank you for your support, collaboration, and memories. I remain steadfast supporter of the Open Library and its mission, and I look forward to seeing the continued positive impact it will make in our community. With sincere gratitude to Steve Lynette D. Watson.
I'd like to thank trustee Robinson for her service.
Any secret session? Yes. Oh, yeah.
Let's see, guys, I move that we enter executive session. For the purpose of discussing.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Exactly. Okay, yeah.
Second. All in favor? Aye. You next month. All right.
So we're gonna turn off the feed.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. I have it written down. So if you want me to do it.
Yeah, sure, thanks. Yeah.
The board is now going into executive session and we will be ending this live stream. If there will be a vote at the end of the executive session, the meetings will reflect it in the vote.